Hi everyone, I'm Icoso and I made a racing game in 6 hours. Why did I do this? I have no idea. Now, I didn't make something like Mario Kart or Forza Horizon, that was totally out of scope for this challenge, so I decided to go a lot more retro and arcadey. So I opened up Unity, named my project Vroom Vroom and began writing out the player movement code. And it's not the best. You can move the car, or in this case a rectangle because I am such a good artist, but it's very fast and doesn't even slow down. So, using some of my big brain moves, I added a top speed that the car could travel and also the ability to drift, so when you make sharp turns you don't bonk into the sides of everything. So now the player movement is working really well, and to be honest, it's super fun to play around with. The gameplay is feeling good, but what isn't good are the graphics. It's literally just a white rectangle in the middle of space, and that's just not a racing game. Using some post-processing effects, a new background style, and changing the car to the colour orange, which is the best colour ever to exist, you cannot change my mind. It's looking okay for 1.5 hours of work in total. I'm not the fastest at making games, or videos, or anything. Gameplay, it's going pretty groovy. Graphics, they're alright, but when cars turn they usually leave these black lines, which I'm trying to avoid calling skid marks because that's just gross. But yeah, they're marks from skidding, just shut up. My first attempt at this didn't go great, they're kinda pink, it's not ideal. I was using Unity's trail renderer for this, and tweaking some more values I found something that looked a lot better. But the marks were still appearing whenever I drove, and instead I wanted to apply them only when I was turning a sharp corner. So going back into the code, I was able to change up a few things, and now it created this really cool, clean effect that made turning around so much more fun. I also wanted to make some smoke particles coming out from behind the car, so I was basically able to use what I had just made with the skid lines and applied them to a particle system. This just goes to show that small details and polish can make a game feel so much better. But I'm almost halfway through this challenge already, and this is all I had, so I began working on making the track for you to race around. I very optimistically named this track Track 1 in the hopes that I could create multiple racetracks for you to play on, but in the end this is the only one I was able to create. The drifting and skidding around corners was something that I found really fun to play around with, so I tried to add as many opportunities for you to do this in the level as possible, and I think overall it turned out pretty well. I also dotted these lines around the road to make it feel a bit more realistic, even though I was going for a really retro, crisp, almost abstract sort of feel with the game. Next up was a lap counting system, and to do this I couldn't just have one trigger over a finish line and call it a day, because you could just reverse over and keep completing laps that way. So instead I placed multiple markers across the map that would keep track of where you were in the level. And it would only allow you to complete the lap if you passed all of these checkpoints in correct succession. This was probably the smartest thing that I have ever done as a game developer, but then again, I think this is how Mario Kart manages their lap system as well, so I probably went a bit overkill here with the amount of markers that I had, because I didn't even end up making this game multiplayer, so there wasn't really a point in doing this, but oh well. Also, there's no real end to this game. I was hoping I'd be able to add a timer to do some time trials, but instead you just keep driving forever. Here's me getting to lap 69 completely legitimately. I didn't go into the code at all and just change it, because I'm just awesome. Nice. After you complete the first lap, these oil spills generate around the track semi-randomly. If you drive over these, you'll lose control of your car for a few seconds and just kind of go all over the place. And once you've completed the second lap, these moving barriers will pop up and kind of just be a nuisance in your way. They're pretty much the cars from Coconut Mall. I added these features in to add a bit more diversity and depth to the project because I only had about a half an hour left now and I was stressing out. I groovied my booty over into FL Studio and put together this song as quickly as I could. It's not great, but hey, it's at least something to distract you from the fact that I didn't have enough time to create any good sound effects. Did I completely overscope for this project? Yeah, pretty much. Did I fail at being a good game developer? Absolutely. Did I have a good time and learn new things? I sure did, and that's what game dev is all about. So yeah, that's pretty much the game. If you want to give it a go for yourself, it's over on itch.io for free. I hope you enjoyed seeing me be a big dumbus, and a special thank you to my supporters over on Patreon, especially DerpyDino35 and Gunst. Thank you for watching this video. This was a really fun project to work on, and I'll see you all in the next video.